Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Cachet Tarot. I still haven't found the creator, and I keep looking for it. I don't find it. But I do see Top That Publishing, I think it is. If you freeze frame, Top That Publishing.com. If you want to find more information about it. One day I'll find out who created that deck. One day. Probably 50,000 years from now, but still, one day. Supportive Oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Website is rockpoolpublishing.com.au. A as an apple, use an umbrella. Okay. What do we have for Cancer? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, the first card out was the success card, so hopefully that augurs very well. We'll see how we go. That's it. Well, no, this might be good. Do you want the success that you're getting? You are getting success. Okay, so this is interesting. Got a couple Cancers in my life. They tend to not like change. They tend to. Not always, but tend to not. I would say that both of them are not a fan of surprises. But whatever. I don't think this is a surprise, though. In fact, you might have seen this coming. The change is coming. Other people want this. I feel like the change coming in, other people that you love want. Now, I feel like you are putting best foot forward. You are doing everything you can to try to be on board with this. Mostly because other people want it. But I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of like, I guess, it kind of like, alright. It's kind of like if you have a home and you love your home, and the people you're living with is like, it's getting too small here, and we could have a better place, and we could have more land to do this and that. We should start looking for another house. And you're like, but I love my house. But everybody else that you live with is like, no, we need a bigger house. We need more. And they're telling you all the things that they think will go better. And you're like, okay. Meanwhile, you still love your house. So it's hard. You're trying to be on board with it is what I'm getting. I feel like you're going along with the motions. I feel like people have stated their case. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. You've been working towards it. You're putting in a lot of effort to go along with this. I keep getting, it's like, I really don't want to, but I'm like, I understand that everybody else thinks it's a good idea, and this would be good for other people. That's really key for Cancer. The people you love are like, yeah, but if we go to like a bigger place, we could do this, and this would make me happy, and this would make me happy. And you're hearing it, and you're like, yeah, that would be better for you. Yeah, you could do with some more space. Yeah, if we had that type of stuff going on there, that could be better. And this could be good for this person and that. So it's like you're totally understanding why this is good for other people. But at the same time, you're like, but I love my home. You're very generous, too, in this situation. What do you mean by that? Like, you're very generous with, like, you know, working this out with other people and trying to make, like, I feel like this is one of those things in the sense of, like, all right, if I'm going to move, I don't want to keep moving. So if I end up loving the next place, which I hope I do, but if I do, I want to keep it. So, like, trying to work with it, trying to be like, all right, what do I need to do to make the next one the permanent one? Don't discount your needs. Oh, Cancer can be very selfless at times, especially when it comes to family and people that you really, really care about. I just see Cancer is an interesting one because early life in Cancer, you can be very much about yourself. Later life Cancer can be very much about those they love, which is ironic to me because Cancers can get lost in the fold and you can end up giving too much. It's just very interesting. Early life, it can be very much about you. Later life, it can be all about other people. It's finding the balance between the two that can be a challenge. Whatever it is you're going towards, this change, indulge yourself a little bit at least. for some reason, I feel like I keep seeing this where it's like, you know what you want, but then somebody's like, but I would like this. And you're like, well, if they're going to have that, I can't have what I want. So that's okay. I love them and I want them to be happy, so I'll let them have what they want and I don't need what I need. That's fine. And I keep seeing that. Cancer is a very interesting sign. You're water. I'm Pisces. But, so it's also a water sign. The thing is, like, it's interesting how Cancer, you can be all about other people and you put other people's needs way ahead of your own sometimes. It's just really like, it's just growing up with a Cancer, just seeing how that changed from like being very what they wanted when they were younger to now like what everybody else wants now that they're older. It's just very much a very interesting sign. Very, very interesting sign. Sometimes, in my opinion, they can be the backbone of a family sometimes. So I see success coming. Definitely make sure you add yourself in because you want to love the next situation as much as everybody else is. And I also feel like by adding yourself in, it does make it a lot easier for everybody else because I just feel, especially later life Cancers, you will always think of other people. It just always, people who matter. People who matter, not just random people on the street, no. People who matter to you, people who have value to you. Not that I need to explain that to you, but because I feel like you don't sell yourself so short that you don't get anything you actually want. Make sure, because you got success coming in here, but the thing is, don't walk away from your success. Make sure you claim it. The situation coming forward, you need to like what you like too. It's almost like, you know, if we're moving house, we're going to use that moving house situation. All right, this place is too small. We're going to go to this other one. Are all these people going to always live with you, or is this something where, you know, 10, 15 years from now, it's just going to be you in that house, in the new house anyway? And it's kind of like, is that house after 10 to 15 years going to be too big? That's a question. So you want to like add yourself in and think a little bit ahead. Like, all right, for the next 10 to 15 years, yeah, it's going to be a full house. We need that. Okay, it makes sense. But like when that isn't going to be full like that, how do I want to change that? What do I want there that's going to make me happy? Do I want those rooms to be guest rooms? Do I want those rooms to be work rooms? Do I want to, like, what do I want to do with that? What do I want? Make sure you have what you want in there. It seems like it's simple, but I feel like they're saying before you accept the next phase, before you accept the next change, wait. Ironically, this is a very good card for this situation. Two of Swords is usually a block card, but I love the way it shows it in this deck. Does it look? It's not. They're not crossed, which I thought was very interesting that they weren't crossed. In this deck, the way I read this card, it's not about a block. It's saying wait. Wait and make sure you want before you go through the next door. Before you go through this archway. It's a window, I think, technically. But before you go through the window, however you're going to do that, wait and make sure that you're getting what you want from this. Make sure you, before you accept it, make sure what you want is there. It's very, very important because whatever this change is you're going into, it's going to stick around for quite a while. Make sure you get what you want from it. There's more coming in here. It's a lot of support around you. People want you to be happy. It's not selfish for you to have some too. Especially if you make, for example, if you make the pie, it's not selfish for you to have a nice piece of it just as much as everybody else. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I've interpreted Cancers, especially later life Cancers. You'll make the pie for everybody, and if somebody else wants your piece, you'll give it to them if they mean something to you. I've seen it happen. That's why I'm thinking. I'm just like, okay, you can have it. And just, you need to have your piece of the pie. You need to have your piece of it. People want you to. People enjoy it more when you get what you want too, ironically. They feel more confident and comfortable getting what they want when you also get your share of the pie too. It's important to other people that you do get your share too. People love you. And if you slight yourself, it bothers them. It just makes them feel bad about it. Kind of like, oh, I got what I wanted. I got everything. And Cancer gave up what they wanted so I could have what I wanted. It just bothers, it will bother people. People who love you will be bothered by that. On the other hand, if they have mostly what they want, maybe not everything, but mostly what they want, and you got some of what you want too, it just, that balance seems to be there to where, you know, oh, I got some good stuff and so did Cancer, so we're all good, we're all square. Everything balances out correctly. They don't feel bad about it. They can center and enjoy what they want or what they have more because they don't feel like they slighted you. Because it does seem to, I feel like this energy around you, like, people do notice. When you slight yourself, they do notice, and it doesn't make them feel good. They do not enjoy it when you slight yourself. What is that? That is good. I know those are good cards, but can we get a little bit more? Seeing the truth of a situation. Ooh. Empress card and Two of Wands reversed. When you have gotten what you want, you got Judgment in your favor, and you got the Beauty card. This is just something to keep in mind. Cancer, I really do think Cancer tends to not like change. I hope I'm not harping on that too much. That's not always a bad thing. Not liking change, if that's true, is not always a bad thing. Because I'm getting the Empress with the Two of Wands reversed. When you get into the next situation, you're going to be very tied to it. You're not going to want to change it afterwards. You're not going to want those changes. You're going to, your natural energy would stand against change. Remember that. Stick with that. Stand against change. Make somebody work for it. If they really want you to change after this has changed, after you go through this one, for example, if we're going to use the house analogy, you go from the smaller house to the larger house. When you're in the larger house, stand against change. Make people work for it. Make them convince you it's worth the change. Make them convince you it's worth it in the new situation. That's where it works out best for everybody. Only if people take time and really convince you, like I'm not talking one conversation, like it should take 2 to 3 months to really win you over for a change. If it's something that they bring up this idea, like maybe for a week they're all about it, and you're like, well, we'll think about it, we'll think about it, and then poof, you don't hear about it again, it's a good thing you stood against it. You know what I mean? I don't know if I need to do analogies. It's almost like when somebody wants a pool, and it's like the hot weather's hot. We need to get a pool. We need to have a pool put in. We need to pay for a pool to happen. Blah, 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 blah. Be like, well, we don't really have the spot. Well, it's going to, like, well, let's wait. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Then the hot weather passes, and then all of a sudden, well, they don't really want a pool now. Now they want a skating rink. Or they want the area to play football games in, or whatever they want to play in, or whatever they want to do. They want to do other things in the same area. You stood against it. You waited. And now that same area actually has a different purpose. They don't need to do that anymore. You'll find other solutions too. Like I know a couple of friends I know, they have a blow-up pool. It's not a blow. Is it a blow-up pool? I don't know. It's like 4 feet deep and like it's movable. It's not permanently there. They use it when the weather's hot. It stays up for the summer, and then when the summer's over, they take it down, and you can use that same area for something else. So it's another thing. By standing against change, quick change, better options might come your way. So when you get what you want, then it's better to be more resistant against change, so that way we don't have frivolous, quick changes that aren't going to last. It's just like a little bit of advice there. It's not bad that you don't like change. It just depends on how you're doing it. If it takes a while for people to win you over to make that change happen, that's not a bad thing. Are we good? I think we're good. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. So in other words, embrace the first change. Make sure you get what you want out of the first change. When you're into the actual change and you're on the other side of the change, make sure you hold on to what you want. And if there's going to be any change after that, hold your ground for a while and make them work to convince you that it's worth it. Usually, I feel like that's going to go your way. That way you won't have frivolous, quick changes that don't last. Are we good? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.